Hey guys, so it is Belly, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I realized I was ready to quit my 9 to 5 job. So I'm just going to be telling you guys the process of kind of how I figured out that I wanted to when it was the right step for me, and basically why I just did it in general. So I'm sharing the story in hopes that maybe someone else is going through a similar situation out there, and maybe just needs to hear someone else's take on it. So basically, I was working for a construction company, and to be honest, I really loved my job, which is not something you hear people say when they say they're gonna quit their job, but I really did. I had been in the company for 4 years. Last year, I actually graduated college, and I graduated marketing. And when I graduated, I had just felt more lost than I had in years. And when I graduated, I also got a promotion to a project manager. So I went from staying in the office to being on site on the project, taking care of 10 to 20 construction men every single day, working with managers, working with subcontractors. And getting this role was actually one of the scariest things I've ever done, because not only did I now have this new responsibility and leadership position, but I had to do everything in Portuguese. As many of you know, I'm Brazilian and I speak Portuguese fluently, but the fact that I had to speak Portuguese, I had to lead meetings in Portuguese as the boss, that was pretty difficult for me at times until I started getting more of the hang of it. And just talking to the workers and giving pep talks and everything in general having to do in a different language was like an extra challenge to what I was already trying to process and go through. So this job was amazing because it taught me so much about leadership and responsibility and taking on just basically a big role at a young age that I wasn't expecting to already have. So I'm extremely grateful for the company, everything that is provided with me. So basically, you might be wondering, if I love my company, if everything was going great, why did I leave? And the reason is because now, then I guess I had already been with the company for 1 year. And after 1 year, I kind of just looked around, and although everything was great, although I loved my job, this isn't what I wanted to be doing. This had nothing to do with what I want, my plan for myself. And although this job taught me so much in 1 year, and it was everything I needed to take on this next step, I would not be able to go to the next step if I hadn't first taken that one. It had taught me everything that I needed to, and anything that I would learn from this point on would be technical things about construction, not really about leadership and responsibility. So it didn't apply. It would just be useless information for me to know, because I'm not going to take that with me in my career. This wasn't my career. I could not, from the whole time I was there, ever see it as being that. So for me, I wasn't aligned with my purpose or what I wanted to do, which is fine for a while until you get to a point where you're like, money enough isn't gonna make me happy. I need to be doing what I need to be doing. And although money is such a great incentive for things, I need to be getting more than just a paycheck from work. You know what I mean? And it's not that the company didn't provide that for me, it's just that wasn't the area that I wanted to be in general. Keep in mind, I graduated in marketing and I was working in construction. So I grew up with most of my parents being entrepreneurs. So they always found their own way to make money. They did their own hours. And that really has always incentivized me to be like, okay, this is what I want for my life. Because the only time I had ever seen my parents work conventional jobs, they were miserable and our family was miserable. So it was very clear to me what type of lifestyle that I wanted for myself. So it was never a matter of will I open up my own business? It was just always a matter of when am I going to and what is it going to be of. Now, I never thought at this age I would feel ready to embark on that journey. I always thought I would want to live the corporate life for years on end and then figure out I'm ready in my late 20s. But having to kind of grow from this position so fast, and other things that have happened in my life that have just made me kind of jump up the next step, all as well from just following my own intuition. And I loved, like I said, I love my job, I really did, but it was a very, very high stress environment, very high stress. It was one of those jobs where all you wanted to do was come home and vent about all the problems that happened at work. And I hated being one of those people that complained, because I'm a firm believer that the life you have is the life that you chose. If you're like, oh my gosh, I hate the job, not I hate the job that I'm in, but work is so rough, you chose it. How is that anyone else's fault except for yours? You know what I mean? I'm a big firm believer of taking responsibility for your own actions in your own life. So I knew that that was my responsibility to take, and I couldn't put that pressure or that blame onto anyone else but me. So earlier on this year, I was already thinking of starting my own marketing business, but it's always that question like, oh, when are you gonna do it? You know what I mean? Like, you're always kind of pushing it off. You're like, am I ready though? Am I ready to embark on this? And I also had my big trip coming up in May, and I needed to make sure I was financially stable for that. So I knew that any decision I made, it would have to be after May. So that's kind of like how I planned out my year. After May, sometime, I don't know when, but I'm gonna do this. So when I came back from May, basically in June, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to do this next month. And I planned it out. What am I gonna need to quit or to start off and branch off this crazy idea that I had, which was to start my own marketing company. And I decided that I needed to have at least 3 months worth of all my bills paid for, and that includes leisure. And I basically just need to have a game plan. So a lot of people would be like, oh, 3 months isn't enough, which is what a lot of people told me, and that's great if for you that's not enough, but if for 12 weeks I can't make magic happen, then I don't know what to tell you. I need to find some, like, I know I can do this. Basically, bottom line, it all depends on what you're trying to go into. I knew that what I wanted to go into, I had the capacity and I had the skills and the motivation to go after it. So for me, I don't care if later I'm gonna have to do a side job to help pay for it, but I'm gonna get this business running, and 3 months is all I need for it because I need to make this change. So what made me realize like, okay, now I need to do it is basically when I'm in an environment, I need to feel like I'm truly growing in it. If I feel like I've grown, if I've learned and absorbed most of what I had to in that environment, I know that it's no longer for me. As uncomfortable as that is to really get out of my comfort zone and to try new things, it's the only way I'm going to excel and grow. And I'm not going to get to where I want to be just by staying comfy. So that's always been a big fear of mine. So it got to a point where I realized that staying where I was a way greater risk than making a change. It seemed a whole lot scarier for me when I stopped and thought about it, because me staying where I was, it was easy short term, right? You just live day by day and you don't notice it. But long term, I'm just letting months and years of my life pass by without taking any real control towards the direction that I'm trying to go in. And that is really scary to me. And if I quit and I start my own thing, that's also scary, right? But that's scary in a short-term sense. That's scary because now I'm going to try to figure out a new system. Now I'm going to try to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to learn that? But once I get the hang of it, it's going to become comfortable, just like every job does that you do for a long time, So I decided to go with the short-term risk than the long-term. And that was going to be more beneficial for me because, like I said, I need to be in an environment where I'm growing. And most of the growth happens once you make a change. I felt like I had learned everything that I had to within the first year in terms of like leadership and responsibility. Not that I learned everything, but it's like I would learn 10% more if I stayed. But if I completely changed and had to start something new, I would learn 90% because I would have to just figure it out in a new environment and do it all by myself. And to me, that would bring me closer to the person that I'm trying to become a lot more than that 10% girl who's really just not, you know what I mean? It's just, that's when it became a no-brainer to me. That's when it became, because I'm just like, do you want to continue to be that person? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you have more potential, you know what I mean? And like, for you not to go after that because you're scared, like I wasn't going to be able to live with that decision. So I decided to make a change and start my own business. So that's exactly what I did. And at the end of July, in the beginning of July, I told my boss I was going to quit. Completely grateful for the entire opportunity. Like I said, if I hadn't had that job, I wouldn't have had the balls to do what I'm doing right now. So basically what I did is that I knew I was going to quit at the end of July. So I booked a flight to see my cousin in Chicago that I haven't seen in years the next week after I quit. So that way, even if I wanted to stay at work, I literally couldn't because I would be in Chicago. So that was my way of guaranteeing that I wouldn't back out of this and that I would stay true to my passion and what I'm trying to do here on this planet Earth. So yeah, so the questions that I basically asked myself that, I don't know, might help you if this is something that you're ever debating, is where I am, like, in line with my purpose, in line with where I want to be, who I want to be. Is this helping me? And is the company that I'm in, are they providing me more than just a paycheck? And again, that might not be the company's fault at all. It just might be about what you're looking for yourself that that company just can't provide because it's in the wrong niche. You know, are you there because you truly like it or because you're comfortable? And there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. Wherever you're at after a certain amount of time, you're going to get comfortable in. But just make sure that you're not sacrificing bigger dreams just to stay protected, you know? And look around the company. Is there a position in the company that you'd like to get? In my case, there wasn't. In my case, there was nobody in the company where I would rather switch positions with them. If anything, I loved my position more than, like I said, I really did love my job. But it just came to that point where sometimes you just have to make a switch. And yeah, so that's what I did. That's how I figured out that it was time to go. And now I'm dedicating a lot more time to YouTube as well because I want to bring you guys in this journey with me where I'm taking you into this life of a new entrepreneur and my whole journey with it, really. So if you guys want to keep watching more videos or keep up with what's going on in my life, make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me down below. Also give this video a thumbs up and just comment anything you want, I guess. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!